Let me try to be clear. I keep doing these things. Um, what is it called? The viewership is now negligible, but I think they're valuable, and they're valuable to me because since I started this a couple of years ago, it has taken me somewhere, and that was honestly the always the intention. Then other people said, "Oh, you should post those," and so I did, and anyway, I'm not crying over anything. So, but the reason why is I feel like it's shouting. Well, I'm not shouting. Speaking softly into the wind. Right. So, a conservative quote. I read this yesterday. Conservative Wisconsin radio host Jay Weber took his judgment a step further, saying in a now deleted post, quote, "Sorry, this is embarrassing for both father and son. If the walls represent today's American man, this country is screwed," before going on to describe the VP candidate's son with an expletive. So, to clarify, I saw a replay today of what this fellow was talking about. And I don't do political conventions anymore. They have defeated me. I have been moved in the past by the corn. You know how you allow yourself, like watching the champ, smiling at one's own manipulation. Well, this year I've stayed away because the issues seem more important than they ever have been. And I knew what the Democrat one was going to be like. I didn't watch the Republican one either, but from the Democratic Party, as they have reinforced the truth for a year now, that genocide is an American value, and it is historically. You should look it up. And will remain the truth until this moribund, diseased body can fully relieve itself of it, refute it. But anyway, I like this new chap, this Tim. Parenthesis, I like all of them as one does liking pleasant people at bus stops. And parentheses, Tim referred to the birth of his son, or the conception of his son. It was unclear, and I was at the tail end of the speech, and the camera turned around, and the wife was tearing up, and then the camera continued to turn to this near hysterical 17-year-old boy, the son, and I was stunned. I wasn't quite sure why. He was so impassioned. He was not unhappy. He was weeping and jabbing with his thumbs, like thumbs up to his dad. It was astonishing. And I realized almost immediately that what was strange about it was he was really feeling something. In a room of, they must be feeling something. I couldn't. It all seemed rather artificial. In this swirl of artifice, the child was so something. I'd say he was proud of something. And he has, I read, he has nonverbal learning disorder, ADHD, and anxiety. But for me, I looked at him and I thought, that would be me. That's how I would respond. So, I would be lined up against the wall by Jay Weber, apparently, that charming lot, who I've encountered quite a few of them recently. As for Jay Weber or Ann Coulter, who also deleted her Cro-Magnon tweet, what can one feel but sadness that modern civilization still produces these dinosaurs? What are you going to say about these people? I just had a look online at Jay, a photograph, a specimen of American manhood indeedy. But as you know, by now, I'm not here to speculate on what other people feel or why they end up with such strange feelings. My own feelings are quite enough for me to try and understand. I watched Tim Walz and was about to change. I've the kind of speechifying is just beyond me these days, unbearable, and super depressing in the end, that such artificiality actually affects an audience. If it does, if the emotion in the room is any more real than the Kamala smile. And when the camera turned on his wife tearing up, there was a flicker, just a flicker at the edge, this boy, a movement. And then there he was, weeping and stabbing the air with emotion. It crossed my mind he might be handicapped in some way, challenged, but the thought was pushed away by the exuberance of his real feeling. And I realized that quite quickly I was watching this large room of handicapped people, thousands of them, impervious to the shadow of genocide, the vacuity of the speech, the falseness of their politics, and the dishonest promises they made. How do you prosecute price gouging in an economy based on price gouging? If you do, please hurry up. I've seen enough of this manufactured enthusiasm to last a lifetime. I used to think it was evidence of shallowness and stupidity, but I think it is worse now. And I think it's very real. I think that what I'm watching is as real as that's going to get. It was just a stark contrast between this boy overwhelmed by something and then the artificial pretending that one is overwhelmed by something. I do, and I think they are handicapped. This Nicole Wallace, Rachel Maddow, Chris Hayes, they're very good at something, at high-profile job getting, but the standard is excruciatingly low. Was banning Palestinian speakers from the convention stage a small thing to you? It looked like kind of fascism to me. Why one of them might have lost it, I guess, was their worry. Like Tim's son, there might have been a tirade of unwelcome and unpleasant truth out there which would have upset a severely challenged democratic electorate. It's pretty clear I live in a society whose values I don't share. This has been obvious to me for about 50 years. And I have a theory about that which precludes malice and judgment and Satan or stupidity. It is a society, this American Western one, that works very hard on, much harder than communists, say, to create ideal citizens, the ideal participant in what it calls a democracy, who eternally shops, who eats but is not satisfied, the eternal child, the always immigrant, grateful and pious and afraid. All my life, education, advertising, and the arts have clasped hands and brainstormed. How can we get the people to buy the crap we sell? Edward Bernays wrote the book, look him up, one of those Bernays. One of his survivors was asked, how do you get people to believe this stuff? He said, quote, find the unhappiest ones, they will buy. Then his forefather set out cynically to ensure the American remained a lost child as long as possible. Unfulfilled, developed people don't shop. The population loves conventions, ticker tape parades, candy floss, and vacuousness, vacuity. It is, along with genocide, our highest value. The young waltz is not handicapped, the rest are. Yeah, and then I read today something somewhere, threads, and somebody said we have to crush MAGA, we have to hammer MAGA, and I guess what's becoming clearer and clearer to me is that the MAGA thing is loathsome to me, mostly because I'm not big on I'm big on American greatness in its present struggling, slowly being honest with itself state. I definitely am. But there's no great America in the history. Sorry, Dennis Kucinich, Donald Trump, almost everybody one encounters, that there is no golden age of America. There's a growing period. There's nothing to be again about, right? It's just we ought to be free to have different values as we live, and that's become less and less possible in my time in America. You can say anything you like, but it's not saying, it's about being. That needs to be free. Freedom to be. The thing about free speech is if you lie, it doesn't make any difference. If you're desperately trying to find common ground with people, that is a genuine striving to me. But crushing MAGA does not sound like it. You know.